Call the Ways and Means Committee to order, if we could. I'll do a roll call. Elaine Daly, I'm here. Heidi Nightingale.
Present.
Bob Shea.
Here.
Ben Vitale.
Present.
Tom Winslow.
Here.
Great. Could I get a motion to approve the September 16th minutes?
Move it.
I guess second.
Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
As you see, we have no appointments on the agenda for tonight. So we do have 4 resolutions, and when we get to the individual department heads that are bringing them, we can go over those. But we can start with our treasurer, Dave Dempsey.
Does anybody have any questions?
The only question I had is you're talking about collecting the room occupancy tax beginning in the third quarter. Is there a sense that the occupancy tax will hit the budgeted benchmark? I know there was at one point concern that it might not. Do you know that answer?
My guess is yes, it'll be okay.
Okay.
It'll hit the way it's going right now.
The 1.2 million
Yeah.
is in the budget.
Mhm.
Okay, it doesn't look like there's a shortfall.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
But as you know, it fluctuates
Yep.
quite a bit, so.
Okay, and your good news is you did end up getting a deputy treasurer too filled.
We did. Jessica Mull, her name is. I invite everybody down to meet with her. If you get a chance, stop in. She's had quite a bit of experience, formerly from Canandaigua in the town over that way, so she has a lot of background. And right now, for the last couple of weeks, she's been in intense learning mode with Melinda, my deputy, and all things in our treasurer's office, and she seems to be picking things up really well. And I'm going to bring her over to meet with Grace and Jenny soon at their convenience. I'd like them to meet her and chat with her, and knock on wood, we hope everything will go well going forward.
All right, great. And she has the ability to work directly with Melinda till the end of October, and then Melinda has the ability to come back in if need be.
That's correct. And I thank you all again for passing that opportunity because it's a unique position and Melinda has a wealth of information, experience. And it's going to be important for her to be able to contact her, both of us to contact her for some help in the event that she gets into some difficulties early on in the process. And of course, I'm confident that Jenny and Grace will be able to help out as well in some areas. But I think you had a lot of foresight being able to pass that for us and give her the opportunity to be available. So thank you again for that.
Any other questions for Dave? Hearing none, thank you. Grace, you're next.
Yeah. You have my report in front of you. I don't know if anybody has any questions on that, but I do have one resolution.
Yep, you have resolution means number 3, authorizing the legislature to create and the director of finance to fill one accountant help program in the finance department due to a vacancy.
Yep. It's been a vacancy since July 3rd.
Yes.
Due to the hiring restrictions or.
We all know you lobbied very hard for it and we asked you to wait.
Yes, and it is a critical position. This position does, do all of the recording of our revenue and court and trust. And I mean, there's just so much. I mean, we really do need this position.
Okay.
I'll move, place it on the table.
Okay. Any questions for Grace on this position? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Opposed.
Okay. All right. Next is Jenny and Delicado.
You have my report in front of you. I'll first ask if there's any questions on that.
No, you talked about all the 12 checks for closed parcels sold at auction for over $1 million, but this is where the changes occur and that revenue isn't realized by the county, but.
Correct. So there is a possibility that some of that may be realized in the future. Essentially, if it doesn't get claimed by the by anyone over a certain period of time, the courts should turn it back over to the county and it's supposed to be used to remove tax levy.
Is that different than initially?
No, it was initial,
Okay.
but it's supposed to be after 3 years or at such time that the court deems. So it could be longer than 3 years. The court may deem that they want to give more time. So there's not an exact time period involved.
Okay,
But at some point, we may see some of those funds back. I would think particularly on properties where the prior owner had been deceased and we had not been able to identify heirs. Those situations, I don't necessarily know that those funds would get claimed.
and they'd be held by the court till they're released? I mean, how does,
So it's weird because the court doesn't technically hold funds. They actually turn them over to finance.
oh,
Finance holds them and releases them when they get an order from the court to release them.
okay.
So I don't know what the release would actually look like. It may just be an order saying the claim period is closed. I really don't know
Right,
at this point because it hasn't happened.
all right. We'll do your two resolutions and then we can talk about what we've asked you to present. Okay. Ways and Means one, authorize the settlement of the matter of 2023 West Genesee Street Road. This is a Article 7 challenge.
Correct.
Yep, could you go over that or?
Sure. So this one's a little bit different than most of the assessment challenges that we'll see. So this was regarding a denial of an exemption for county purposes. So we did opt out of the 487 energy exemption. But that was after construction began on this parcel. So technically they are eligible for the exemption. There's other background to it, why we were holding off, but essentially they are eligible for the exemption and should be granted it. So
Okay.
this is essentially granting that through the settlement.
That they're eligible for.
Correct.
Okay. Can I get a motion and a second?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Any other questions for Jenny? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Then you have Ways and Means 4, which is the adopt the equalization rates for the apportionment of 2026 county tax levy.
Yep. So this is an annual resolution. Every year it comes through in October, sometimes November. But essentially you have to adopt the equalization rates that are the certified state equalization rates that we will use to apportion the county taxes.
Okay, get a motion in a second?
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Okay, I guess Jenny, we had talked with you a little bit about, giving the committee and the legislature some general information. At some point, we have to put the resolution forward to exceed the tax cap, if that is exactly the majority's, and that we were looking for some people to want to understand what that actually means.
Correct. So I had run through what different impacts, with different increases in the levy, what impact that would have for $100,000 taxable assessed value. So what I've given to you, and because equalization rates, you're going to have some towns, the impact to each municipality is going to look different. So what I've given you is a range of what the impacts would be across all of our municipalities. So for some municipalities, they'll actually see a reduction in their taxes. Their tax rate's going to go down.
Was it 2, 4, 6, and 10?
Correct.
Some would go down.
Some will go down. So specifically in this case, it's plumbing. They maintained a 100% equalization rate from last year to this year.
Right.
So their full value is relatively the same, while everybody else's full value has gone up. So everybody else is taking a bigger share, so their share has gone down. So yes, their tax rate is lower. And then on the high end is Montezuma. So essentially, they,
Tax rate is so low.
they're.
They don't do an equalization.
So low. And so their percentage change in their equalization was the largest percentage change. So like if you just looked at like the percent that it went down, it's on par with some of the other towns, because they're in similar markets, but because their equalization rate was already so low, it was a larger percentage change. So,
So I guess just for my clarity too, in these ranges, say for instance, at a 6% tax increase, the highest any of the towns or villages would pay would be.
this is for $100,000 assessed
Okay,
value.
got you. All right.
It would be $201.74. And that's based right now on where the taxable values are. I can still get in correction of errors.
Yep.
This settlement, when that goes through, that's going to change the taxable assessed values. So some of these figures might change slightly, but this is going to give you a pretty good idea. This is, you know,
What the impacts may be.
right, correct. It's to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. And so for Montezuma, I will say the average assessed value there is actually less than $100,000 if you know, if you take an overall average of their assessed values. So,
But their equalization rate is through the roof.
it is. So their full market value is a lot higher, but the actual taxes are, extended on the assessed value, not on full value. Full value is only used for apportionment.
And the question, I think, when we were working this up was, well, why don't you base it on a $200,000? And you said that for the towns and villages.
There's quite a few that their average assessed value is below 100,000. So it's, you know, all over the board. So I thought 100,000 was a better mark as far as above or below that. I mean, and certainly if anybody had questions, the overall spreadsheet is a little overwhelming to look at. So that's why it was condensed down into this version. If you have questions on specific municipalities, let me know and I'm happy to share that information. I just don't want to overwhelm you, you know, with a huge, tiny print.
Yes.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Okay. So, any other questions on this? You look like you have a question, no?
That's good.
Okay. Okay.
Now, I believe, Fred, the one resolution here for, is yours?
Yeah.
The attorney, to renew the Bond Shannick King contract for 2026.
So Bond Shannick and King has two contracts with the county. Well, one is with the college and is a representative from the college here. And one is with the county. This is for labor relations. Contract has expired. This is a resolution to extend that contract for a period of 3 years. The rate for 26 for both the college and the county stays the same at $13,000 for the county, $10,000 for the college. It increases by $500 a year on both sides for 27 and 28. And I'll ask that you consider that tonight. Open it to answer any questions.
Can we get a motion on WM2?
Move it.
Second?
We're on it, Bob.
This is no different, obviously, than it's been this monthly rate.
That's correct.
Questions on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Diane?
I'll ask if anyone has any questions about my report.
I'm just wondering what we're working with people who are currently out on FMLA leave means.
So basically, it's people who are eligible for the leave.
Yep.
So it's from a variety of departments. So we help talk to them about the benefit of going out on the leave, and what documentation they need to bring to us in order to return to work. And then if they do come back, if they do have any restrictions, then we're communicating with the department head or supervisor to ensure that we can accommodate those. Otherwise, they would have to stay out longer.
Okay.
Yep.
Right, just to make sure that you're following
Yeah,
up.
we're tracking all that, making sure they're eligible for the number of weeks that they have available and they're using their hours appropriately.
Okay. All right, any questions for Diane? Thank you.
Thank you.
Last but not least, Amanda O'Grady. Oh, Amanda.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Okay, sorry. I don't have anything to add to my report unless anybody has a question on anything on there.
I just want, just one, the cleaning up of the 24 and older POs to close and move leftover funds back to the fund balance. This is something you've taken on in case there's been open POs that haven't been spent, so that you, is that kind of, go ahead.
So every year we have POs that carry forward.
Yep.
And when I first started in the position, there were some really, really old POs. So I've cleaned all the really, really old POs up, but now we're looking at things, for 2024. If you haven't spent them by now, is the work actually scheduled to be done? Is it not going to happen? Is a purchase still pending, or did it get paid without a PO and this money is just locked up? That's actually happened a few times that it went as a payment out of another budget. So there was, $30,000 I was able to close in the one day. And so when it's carried forward so that it's doesn't hit their new budget. It goes out of their old budget by carrying it forward. When I close it, they don't get that money back into their current budget. It goes back into our general fund. So they don't get a chance to utilize that.
And do you want to talk about your resolution now with Amanda here, or just?
I don't care, whatever you want to do it.
Okay, because there is a resolution, Amanda, to authorize and directing the chair of the legislature and the director of purchasing to issue RFP and RFI for professional services related to 160 Genesee Street. And I know that was brought up at the planning meeting, I believe. And Public Works, excuse me. And you had some information that you wanted to update the legislature or the Ways and Means Committee as well?
Yeah, I haven't seen the resolution. I did go back and watch that meeting to try to hear the different things that were mentioned in the resolution then at the time. Just to have an understanding of what the thought was behind it. And so I did hear a month mentioned, and I wanted to kind of just go over a few things. That the bid process, a month is a decent general time frame. Right now, if you publish a bid, so you have to put a legal notice in, it has to be 5 days beyond the publication date. So if I were to go in today and put in a legal notice, it's usually about 2 weeks before it hits the paper. You have to do 5 days beyond that. That is the bare minimum. You do not get a ton of bids when you are doing like the bare minimum. It doesn't really give a proper Q&A period, things like that. And then to schedule your bid opening. So just to have that as a general understanding, 3 weeks is basically your bare minimum time frame. 45 days is more of a good, gives you time to put the bid out. It hits the legal notice. It's out for a couple of weeks. You have people sending questions in. You publish a QA. Sometimes there's a walkthrough scheduled, things like that, and then you do a proper bid opening. This type of stuff, we are doing a bid.
Want to go on the walkthrough?
So we are doing a bid for the basement for just removing the 911 and the data center equipment. That was the priority that we had been told about. So that is going out to bid, and that's very specific. So same thing with floors 2 through 6. That's going to be really, we're going to have a state variance for that one. We just got the state variance for the 911 data center to be moved out. That was the first week in October. That's required to be in your bid. The drawings with the specifics on what's required because of the asbestos, those things we have to have in the bid as well. Now, we would like to do a walkthrough because that is the best way to do it, but we don't want to suit people up in PPE. So there is no site walkthrough for that. But it is also a little bit different in the basement because that one is contaminated with asbestos. Floors 2 through 6 is the vermiculite. When we're talking about floors 2 through 6, it's going to be a different state variance. There's also things to remember that our elevators, one of them is down. It was down when we closed down and it has not been repaired. So we have one elevator. That elevator was tested. It did not test clean. So we would have to go through, if we're not going to use the elevator, that of course substantially increases the cost to remove contents because they will have to go through the stairs for 2 through 6, which is a lot. Otherwise we look at trying to contain it within the elevator, which probably won't happen in my opinion. It is an open elevator shaft for both. It has the blown in fireproofing insulation, which is probably where the asbestos has been, deteriorating in there. So it would be tough to plywood and plastic within that whole elevator shaft in order to run those. And then on top of that, all of the contents, people have things in their desk and on their desk. We can't go in and box them up. So we will have to pay somebody to box them up, to label them with personal names in order to bring them out. And then it would be, there would be things that the attorneys would probably want to have paperwork for if somebody is taking their stuff back, that they're not going to sue us. And for people that don't want their stuff back, that they're not going to potentially sue us. So those are all things that have to be situated before we can put out the bid, really, to remove the contents of the building.
But Amanda, I think, and I wasn't at the meeting, but the issue I thought that was brought up is that at some point that has to happen. The building needs to be, the contents need to be removed. And at some point we have to know what the cost will be. Correct?
Yes, that's correct.
I mean,
That's what I
the purpose of
understood.
why you brought that, Ben? Was that your intent to say we have to start somewhere?
I don't know. I'm just not following all this because Amanda's given us legal advice, which I think should be coming from that side of the table. Priority to move into the basement. I don't know when we discussed that as a legislature.
I thought to move the equipment.
I'm just puzzled by all of this.
So, I mean, I was informed that the 911 and data center was urgent to get those things out of there because of the data center being a critical point and 911 not having an appropriate backup. That's information I was given. I obviously can't speak for the rest of the legislature, but that's information that I was given, that it was a priority. So that's what we've been working on with campus to remove that stuff. But the rest of the basement, the contents will be in there. Yeah.
Yeah, so Ben presented a draft resolution at Public Works. And then the collective thought process of the committee was asking me to revise the resolution and then, make it available for Ways and Means, which I did. So some of the things that Amanda has mentioned, we corrected in the draft that I think has been circulated to the committee members. Basically, I took out the timeframes because, the issue is to issue the RFPs, timeframes. Really, it should be up to Amanda as the director. She knows how the bid process works and how best to attract, potential suitors or contractors, if you will. Two, for each of the professional services, what I added was language that basically says that we're asking the consultants to work with us to develop a plan and then to give us an estimate for what that plan would cost in terms of moving furniture, developing a plan for moving the personal contents, all of those, many of the things that Amanda mentioned would be, expanded upon by our consultants. They would say, no, you can't do that. Yes, you can do this. If you want to do that, then you got to wrap it in plastic and do this. So we really need to leave that up to the consultants to tell us the best mechanism or the best means of moving the contents out of the building. One thing that is not on the list of professional services here is the cost of storage. You've got 6 floors of furniture. The only available space that I'm aware of, and I could be wrong, but the only space I know of at the moment is the basement of the mental health building. That certainly is not large enough to hold 6 floors worth of desks and filing cabinets, things of that nature. So in any event, the gist of this is that the RFPs for the consultants is to ask for their assistance to help us come up with a plan. 2, there's multiple consultants involved when you're dealing with environmentally contaminated materials. You have one contractor who actually does the physical work. That work has to be covered by a monitor. So for every project that we're looking at, you have to have 2 folks. At a minimum, you have to have 2 folks, the contractor and the monitor. So I also incorporated that in. And then the last thing and the last resolved is to, Ben was looking for some ideas on, how can we do something with the, we got to start looking at a plan for the building. And so the last resolve, instead of an RFP, I suggested, and I'm recommending an RFI, a request for information. The difference between that and RFP is that you're not asking for a financial proposal to come up with a proposal on how to redevelop the building. A potential developer who, if he was interested, would have to get an architect, an engineer. He'd have to go through all the environmental. He would want to look at the building. He'd want to look at the structure. Because without that data, he has no means of estimating whether he's got a $6 million project or a $60 million project. So the concept here is to ask for, do an RFI. That is going out to developers and say, hey, if you're interested in redeveloping this property, give us an idea, give us a concept. And if, we get a concept, somebody wants to put up, a luxury hotel, we can say, well, gee, I'm not sure that fits in our little community. Someone might say, I want to do low income housing. Well, do we want that or not? I don't know. But in any event, the RFI leaves the field wide open and asks other developers to, give us their sketchbook on what they think the property could be used for. And so that's what that's for. So those are the changes and slightly different. Like I said, Amanda hasn't seen the resolution, but those are the ideas that are out there.
I'll move the resolution for discussion.
I'll second.
Aileen has her hand raised.
Okay, Aileen?
Hi, thanks. So I had a point a few minutes back, but overall, I'm sorry, I'm traveling, so hopefully you can hear me. Overall, I think the point of the resolution was between the information that's been shared with from Amanda as well as Rich. I'm going to couch that term information because it's a lot of conjecture and assumptions. I think what we're all saying is we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. We didn't hear about anybody working on specifics until this resolution came up. So I think it would be really helpful if we were to get some sort of weekly report, some update to know what is going on. There is not a week that goes by that any of us aren't asked about this. You can't open up social media without seeing something about it either. So I understand why legislator Vitale is puzzled. I too am puzzled, and I was in the thick of this in 2024. I do have one clarifying question. I think Amanda mentioned that there was not asbestos on floors 2 through 6, and it was just vermiculite. I don't know if that's accurate. And as we know, vermiculite is assumed to have asbestos-containing material in it, as per New York State law. So I just wanted to clarify that.
So I guess for the committee, here for the committee is the interest in passing this resolution compelling these different things to get done? Or is there an interest to say, we want to know what's currently being done? Have a look. I don't know.
No, I guess as far as this resolution goes right here, at the very least, I guess I'll make a motion to table it. Have this handed to me at the start of this meeting with all the talk that's going on, I'll be able to make an informed decision. I don't think I can do that right now with given a 20-minute lead time into this and with all the topics that have come up since then. So I guess, at this time, is it allowable to ask for a motion or make a motion to table this?
I'll second it if you want. You made a motion?
We have a motion to table in a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry.
Oops.
And I guess the sense is it's not to say, let's not move forward. It's to understand
Right.
where we're at and then make the best decision.
Right, give us time to review this, ask the questions that we have on it, maybe consult with legal and purchasing director and, just give us time to digest this and look at it.
And just.
Can I add a little something? Sorry. So I can certainly update my report and or send anything out with weekly updates related to RFPs or anything related to the COB. I don't know so I just got added to the meetings for the basement last week. And I know Kevin from Buildings and Grounds, he's in those meetings weekly, I believe. So I don't know if it's something you want him to report on, the actual COB technical stuff to you, or to his committee or all of the legislature, either way. Like Aileen said, I don't know about the asbestos and vermiculite for floors 2 through 6. I know its base was vermiculite. The basement had no vermiculite. It's just asbestos. So I guess that's where I meant that it was separate, but that again would come way better from Kevin from Buildings and Grounds.
If
I
I
don't
could,
know.
Elaine,
Go ahead.
sorry. I guess my point about a weekly report would be from the chair, somebody who is in the room with all these individuals, and to give it to us in some sort of legislative format. We don't need to know all of the nitty gritty, and we don't need to know all of the, every single thing. We need to know a general direction where we're headed. Like we said, before this resolution came up and we had this sort of discussion, we weren't really talking about this. Campus came and did their review with us, and some things were said in that meeting that I had never heard. So, I feel in the dark about this, and I think that it should come from the chair, who is going to collect the information from everyone involved and sort of take a higher approach to this, straight to the rest of us.
Jonathan.
That's my suggestion. That's just my suggestion.
He has his hand up. Jonathan?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. First of all, we did have discussion about the building. We passed a resolution to allocate funding and to make the movement of 911 from the county office building to the Auburn Fire Department a priority. At that time, Miss O'Grady has been out due to some personal concerns, FMA. And, during that time, for those weeks when she got back, I asked her immediately to put out the quote for the basement, because that has to go out for bid. And at the same time, I asked her to work on a bid for floors 2 through 6 for removal of the items on those floors. As far as the asbestos goes, there is asbestos fireproofing, I believe, throughout the building. But as far as the testing of contaminated surfaces, asbestos is all the reports I read, asbestos was only contaminated or found within the basement area as far as the sampling goes. The rest of it was the vermiculite. The other thing is, we also had the presentation from campus. And at that time, it became clear that we have a building that's contaminated. And we have to work to get those items out. And that background work has been going on at the same time, because this legislature understands that those items have to come out. And, say you don't want the nitty gritty of it. Well, it sounds like you do want the nitty gritty of it, and I can provide you the nitty gritty of it. But you gave us a task, and we've been moving forward with those tasks. And I don't need a resolution to go out for RFP or RFQ or even RFI. But if this board determines that that's what they want to do, then that's fine. But those are the steps we're taking. And, if anyone ever has a question, feel free to call or text. And I'm more than happy to answer individual questions at the same time if you're not getting the information you feel you need. Thank you.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, just one more clarifying point. Since you've already moved to table this, the second document you have there is where it says at the top, Cayuga County request for information. This is just a sample RFI, what it might theoretically look like. So I just because I want to give folks an idea of the purpose for an RFI, what an RFI does and how it looks. This would obviously be subject to revision after, talking with Amanda and whatever suggestions she might have. So it's just a sample.
And since we have not decided what to do with the county office building, this would just be another piece of information if there is even any interest from a developer.
Correct.
To utilize the building and go.
You get, like I say, you can get any number of ideas if there's.
And if there's no interest, then there's none.
Right.
Right.
But from a developer standpoint, there are funds available to a developer to decontaminate the building and all of that. We don't have all that information necessarily, but a developer who's in this business and does this kind of thing would know where to get the money and who to go to.
Okay.
Are we tabling this to next week, to next month? It's not clarified.
I guess my understanding, if it falls in line with the one other resolution that is on the table that's gonna come off tonight, it would have to be at since it's a Ways and Means meeting, it'll come off the table at the next Ways and Means.
That's my understanding.
Okay. Before we get into the other agendas, I just wanted to say that the updated November calendar is either out or it's coming out. November 5th is the date of the release of the tentative budget. And right now we're looking at the possibility of having Ways and Means meet for a special meeting on the 13th and the 18th. These are the initial meetings for Ways to consider any changes to the tentative budget in preparation of us handing the budget to the county legislature for their consideration. So November 5th tentative, and right now, November 13th and 18th would be where we would be able to get information and as well as make any changes to the tentative budget that's released. Okay, you want to go on? We can go to the Human Services, Heidi.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Health and Human Services has 13 resolutions tonight. 12 of them were reviewed and unanimously accepted at the Health and Human Services Oversight Committee. And one has been added for review tonight at Ways and Means, due to just a glitch in getting it here. I would like to start with bundling several. Bundling HH1, bundling HH2, HH3, HH4, and HH8. All of these resolutions have to do with contract renewals or new contracts. HH1 is contracting with Canine Kennel. This is related to rabies and a kennel that would be able to, in the need that the county needed to quarantine a pet or animal or dog. This is a kennel that is available to do that and contracting with us. HH2 similarly is a contract with DAC Solutions, Wildlife Solutions, and this has been a contract long in the binding. These would be folks who would help take samples, go out and pick up animals, et cetera, related to.
Organize them, right?
Yes, related to rabies. HH3 is a renewal of social services to enter into a contract with Chapel House for the provision of supportive case management, and HH4 similarly to enter into a contract with Chapel House to provide traditional housing alternatives for homeless clients, so that these are renewals and something that we have been working with Chapel House on as one of the only providers available. HH8 from mental health is signing an agreement with the Open Practice Solutions for Historical Records. This is the ability to use software which will allow that department to access records for the purpose of older billing and getting that up to date, but more importantly, looking at charts that no longer are available, due to cloud-based kinds of things. They need those records in order to work with clients as they come back after several years. And those records are, then digitalized and locked to them. This allows that department and those workers to access them to expedite and give best practice services to clients.
I'll make a motion to bundle HH1, 2, 3, 4, and 8.
I'll second.
Any questions? on Any of those? All in favor?
Aye.
I'd also like to bundle HH6, HH7. These are both resolutions for Phil based on and create and fill based on the health program. One is HH6 is filling 2 human service examiners. These are due to vacancies that have opened up. And HH7, an accountant in the Department of Social Services due to a vacancy. These have either are positions on the exempt list or positions that have gone through Personnel Committee and have been approved.
Move HH6 and 7. Get a motion for those?
I'll make a motion. Second.
Yep. HH6, these are the 2 human services examiners that have been vacant for months. 2 out of 4, and the overall plan is to, eliminate the 2 and end up with, instead of 4, end up with 2, but these have been vacant for quite some time.
Yes.
Any questions on 6 or 7? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed?
Okay, I'd like to go back up to HH5. This is authorizing the legislature to create and the Commissioner of Social Services to fill one principal accountant clerk in the Department of Social Services, and to, in doing so, alongside, abolish one clerk and one senior typist position that currently exist. This was presented to us by the department head of social services and the deputy of social services at their budget presentation to us earlier this month. There was also a discussion that was had during their budget presentation individually, and was part of reduction in staff that they were offering as they looked at ways to reconfigure efficiency within their department. And as a result, the recommendation was made to take that to the Personnel Committee, where this was approved, and we will see this process in the upcoming budget, these two positions being abolished, and the one principal accountant clerk being the other thing that was important about this particular resolution and the background and reason for it is that it allows sustainability opportunities through succession building and training. It would be time for principal accountant to be trained and ready to get into that position before vacancies, much like what happened with our treasurer and his position.
I'll move HH5.
I'll second HH5.
Questions for Heidi? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Who were did you also oppose or just Ben?
Just Ben.
Okay.
Okay, I also would like to offer a bundle of HH9, HH10, and HH11. These are all resolutions to accept funds.
I'll move HH9, 10, and 11.
HH9 is allowing the Director of Community Services to accept additional regional abatement dollars from the state opioid settlements of just over $158,000. And authorizing the Director of Community Services to accept, again, regional abatement dollars from the state opioid settlement as a pass-through to the city of Auburn. It's actually required at just over $28,000. These were funds not expected, but coming in at this point that we look at accepting so they can move forward, move on. And finally, authorizing the chair to sign an agreement with New York State Office of Mental Health funding for court-based mental health navigators. This is a $103 funding amount, which would allow us to provide a continuing contract with Cayuga Counseling Services.
Have a motion second. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
HH12 from the Youth Bureau is a resolution to accept a change in the scope of work in an already executed contract, so it would be a contract amendment. This is for an ARPA recipients contract at Cayuga Counseling Services, where they approached the Youth Bureau. The Youth Bureau Advisory Committee looked at their amendment and the reasons for that. The amendment provided much sustainability of programming in mentorship and pro-social recreation for youth across the county and youth in higher risk. And was that amendment and mission was approved and accepted by the advisory board. The amendment in no way harms the ability for the ARPA funds to be spent down by 2026.
Move HH 12.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And finally, added tonight after discussion, brief discussion at the Health and Human Services Committee, is HH 15.
It should be 13.
Oh, 13. I did see the change.
Yeah. I just noticed.
I trusted you, Amanda.
Should not be 15.
Yes.
Nice try, man.
And,
Skip all 13. Bad number.
allows for the creation and filling of one full-time health home care manager at the mental health center due to a resignation. So this is a position in the budget. This is a position that has been ongoing and is fully funded and needs to be filled due to a vacancy.
HH 13.
I'll second.
Questions?
I just would like to mention that it's
Okay.
also one of those positions on our exemption list.
Absolutely. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Government operations. Oh geez, that's me. Authorize the chair of the legislature and the commissioner of the Board of Elections to sign contracts with New York State Board of Elections to accept 2025 general election grant and the 25 vote by mail grant. And go through them and we can separate any ones you want. Number 2 is approving the collective bargaining agreement between the community college and their professional group for a period of September 1, 25 through August 31st of 2030. Kelly was at and she's here today. She was at our meeting. It's a formality as a sponsor that we have to approve what the college has brought forward. If this passes, I think there'll be changes in salary, 4.5 for 2 years and then 3 for the rest of the term. Authorizing the chair of the county legislature to sign a utility release form with Siemens Industry. This, they have very good slides, as Mr. Shea would say, that we didn't get a chance to see. But this resolution gives them authority to get our data, our usage data, access to our data to see if they can come forward with any proposals that would help with our efficiencies and eventually save money for our county. So they'll be getting that data, doing the building surveys and coming back with their findings. GO4 authorized to fill one full-time, motor vehicle cashier, due to her retirement. This is a position in the motor vehicle department. We were meeting at the budget meeting today. I think in 24 or 5, there were 9 DMV staff. It's Christine Light with the movement of Christine Lytle to clerk. It's likely that the DMV will be looking at going to a 6 full-time staff. But they're asking to fill the one full-time motor vehicle cashier with an effective date of November 1st. GO5, authorizing the chief information officer to transfer funds to cover some internet service and dark fiber costs. So he found those funds within his budget. And GO6, authorize the transfer of funds within the Cayuga County Veterans Service Agency 2025 budget. I entertain a motion to move these as a group, GO1 through GO6, unless anyone wants them, any one of them brought separated out.
Separate GO4 out, please.
Okay. GO1, 2, 3, 5, and 6.
Yeah, move them.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, GO4 is the authorization to fill one full-time motor vehicle cashier due to retirement. I get a motion in a second.
Motion for discussion.
Okay,
Second.
all right. Yes,
I will have to be reminded about whether this position was on the exemption list.
one
Thought just.
One cashier was put on the exemption list, made it eligible to be filled prior to the end of the budget. Guesses, and we're not, at this point, intending to renew the heritage and this would allow these vacancy to be filled effective November 1st. But it was only one that was on the exemption list. That's why this one had to wait.
I do believe in opportunities for sustainability through succession planning and would support this as a result.
In favor of filling the one vacant cashier, DMV cashier?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. All right, planning,
Thank you, Madam Chair. Planning has 4 resolutions. The first one is authorizing the legislature to create and the Director of Employment and Training to fill Workforce Development Program Assistant through the Health Program position in the Department of Employment and Training. PL2 designated the Cayuga County Convention and Visitors Bureau as a Cayuga County Tourism Promotion Agency for New York State grant funding for the 2026 state program year and designating the program project director. PL3, authorization to accept grants and establish a capital H account for the replacement of the log cabin at Emerson Park. And 4, authorization to enter into contract with W2O to preventative maintenance of sewer lift station within Emerson Park. Amend resolution 163-25. All have been through committee and discussed.
make a motion for PL 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
A second? Any questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public Works?
Okay, Public Works has 3 resolutions. PW1 is for motor equipment operator medium position. PW2 is for a heavy position. And PW3 is for the senior stores clerk position. If there's no reason to separate them, I'll put up 1, 2, and 3 together.
I'll move the bundle.
There you go. Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
A judicial and public safety.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Total of 12 resolutions. Total of 10 that went through committee. 1 was added today, which was JP 11. And we'll be bringing back JP 12, which was tabled in September. I guess we'll start with JP 1, authorizing the chairperson of the county legislature and Cayuga County 911 administrator to apply for SFY 2024-2026 Emergency Services IP Network, quote, ESI Net Readiness Grant.
I'll move that. Did you want to go through more or just go one by one?
We can, like, just trying to keep in.
Yep.
We can go 1 through 5. I guess I'll go 1 through 5.
Okay.
JP 2, authorizing the transfer of funds for the assigned council program, that one will require 2/3 at the full ledge meeting. Authorizing the chair of the county legislature to sign a contract with Thompson Reuters for Westlaw Services. That is within the assigned council office. JP4, authorizing the chair of the legislature to execute and approve 25-26 give elimination initiative grant funding plan award to the Cayuga County District Attorney's Office in the amount of $82,197. And JP5, authorizing the Cayuga County Sheriff to purchase 4 mobile radios to replace radios in 4 marked patrol cars that have reached the end of their useful life.
I'll move 1 through 5.
Second.
Any questions?
Comment?
Yep.
On PW2, the director of assigned council last week, when we had our committee meeting, mentioned that that budget got cut last year during budget season. And I checked into it a little bit and that never did get cut. So he got the money that he asked for. So just a little bit of clarification there.
Thank you.
JP 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If no objection, I will bundle JP 6, 7, 8, and 9. They are all hires within the sheriff's office. If anybody wants them broken out, we will, but no objection, I'll offer a bundle.
All in the custody department?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll move 6 through 9.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
JP 10, to authorize the chair of the legislature and the sheriff of the Cayuga County to renew an agreement with Lexipol to provide ongoing implementation of management of law enforcement policies and procedures for the Road Patrol Division of the Cayuga County Sheriff's Office, as well as provide annual policy updates, training, and accreditation, tracking, and management services related to said policies and procedures.
I'll move that.
I'll second.
Yeah, second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye. JP 11, which was added tonight, was brought up at JPS and authorized the chairwoman of Ways and Means to bring it forward tonight. Authorizing the chair of the legislature to lease office space for office of assigned counsel. Their lease space is up October 31st. And they're going with, there was 2 options. One was signing a 1-year lease with an increase of 3%. And then if they want to get the next year, it'll be another increase of 3%, or choosing the option of going ahead and signing a 2-year lease with a 3% increase the first year and 0% increase the second year. So the recommendation is to go with the 2-year.
All right, I'll move JP 11.
I'll second.
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. JP 12.
Mention that at that committee meeting, Mr. Hoskins did mention that this has worked out to be excellent office space for them. It's absolutely, we not consider a renewal of contract. Certainly would be no place for them to go. But even if it was the case for them to go somewhere, this has worked out very well for all parties involved.
JP 12. And we need a motion and second to bring this off the table.
That's correct.
And I guess I will offer up a motion to bring it JP 12 off the table.
I'll second.
This one is for the hiring of a special patrol officer in the Moravia School District. When this was brought forward, there was some concern of the timeline on it not falling in place with the policy that was on. So it came back and we revamped the timeframe. Whereas the second to last resolve now will read that the resolve that the authorization to fill for these positions be valid from November 1st, 2025 through March 24th, 2026. So the hiring will be waiting until after November 1st.
I'll move that.
Nightingale, second.
Already been
Second. Vote on the,
Oh, I'm sorry.
you brought it off the table. You need to
Oh.
vote on the motion, to bring it off the table.
I'll bring it off the table.
And I'll second.
Is there a vote on moving it off the table?
We,
Not yet.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Thank you.
I'll motion for the resolution.
I'll move the resolution.
And I'll second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
That's it. Motion to adjourn.
Yes, motion to adjourn.